We recognize that the Indigenous people as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. Next order of business is the roll call.
Cece Albrecht. Richie Andrews.
Present.
Ronell Aquino. Jose Arendado.
Here.
Wyatt Boswell. Tatiana Colon. Present. Jameson Daycock.
Present.
Stella Destino.
Present.
Eliana Freitas.
Present.
Victoria Garcia.
Present.
Dorothy Gordon.
Present.
Alicia Gupta.
Present.
Cassidy Lovin.
Present.
Hope Lowry.
Present.
Emma Mozilova.
Present.
Elenowski.
Present.
Sabina Piran. Michael Sandoval.
Present.
Natalie. Present. Sophia Bo.
Present.
Abigail Walker.
Present.
The next order of business is the approval of the agenda. Senator Jameson.
I move to approve today's agenda.
Second.
There is a motion on the floor that has been seconded. Is there any discussion? Since there is no discussion, we will now move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All those that oppose, any abstentions? Motion passes. We will now move on to the approval of the minutes. Senator Hunt. Senator Sophia.
I move to approve the minutes from February 5th, 2026.
Second.
There is a motion on the floor that has been seconded. Is there any discussion? Since there is no discussion, we will now move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All those that oppose, any abstentions? Minutes pass. The next order of business is the new business. We have a presentation, we have the swearing in of new members. I'm sorry, we have a presentation from the Director of Sustainability, John Alejandro.
Hi, I'm John Alejandro. I'm the Director of Sustainability here at USD. I just want to thank everybody. Now?
Senator Sophia.
Is there any way we can turn up his mic?
Yeah. Better? A little louder? This one better? Oh,
Yes.
I can even hear myself now. Even better. Okay. Yeah, cool. Okay. Great. I'm going to stay out here because I hate standing behind podiums because then all of you are so far away from me. I'm John, Director of Sustainability here at campus. I see a lot of familiar faces, actually a few familiar faces, but I see a lot of new faces. This is my fourth presentation to ASG. How many of you are new and have never seen my presentation before? Wow. Okay, so lots of new faces. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to ask you guys a question. How many of you know USD's sustainability goal? The university has like a giant sustainability goal. Anyone want to take a guess as to what that could possibly be? What?
I move to abstain Robert's rules for the duration of this presentation.
There is a motion on the floor that has been seconded. Is there any discussion? Athletics coordinator?
Is that just when we, like, we're only suspending, we don't have to, like, turn off the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just for clarification, no Robert's rules right now just means that like if he asks for participation, I don't have to call on people individually. Since there is no further discussion, we'll now move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All those opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes. Robert's rules are suspended.
Okay. You have an answer to my question or no?
Oh, restate your question.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what USD's big sustainability goal is? Anybody have any idea? It's actually pretty hard to find out. And I don't know why that is. It's on the sustainability website. But it's actually this.
We got an answer over here, potentially.
Oh, there it is. Did you know it was carbon neutrality at 2035?
I wasn't gonna say it like that formal, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah, totally. So this is USD's big sustainability goal, is to be carbon neutral by 2035. Now my next question is, who knows what carbon neutrality means? Yeah, it's a little bit different. Basically, this is what carbon neutrality means. I like this little graphic because it's really simple and it's really easy to kind of follow. So any emissions that you generate through the purchase and use of electricity, or if you're burning things like natural gas water boilers to create hot water, that creates carbon and other greenhouse gases. They go up into the atmosphere. The only way to reduce those is to actually go up and pull them out of the sky and put them back into the ground. Is that really easy to do? No, super, super, super hard. In fact, the only thing that can actually really kind of do that are trees and plants, the ocean. But there's so much carbon being emitted that the natural environment will never sequester as many emissions as we're emitting right now, right? So basically, what my office does is this. We have two goals. We improve and protect the environment by implementing like plans, projects, and programs, and then we engage the USD community to help us achieve that overall goal of improving our environment to achieve our goal of being carbon neutral by 2035. Yeah? In a nutshell, that's kind of what we do. And we kind of focus on two things. My office is kind of strange. We focus on projects, like building projects, improving our buildings, replacing lighting, putting in new air conditioning units, new boiler units that are much more efficient, reducing energy here on campus through like renewable energy installations like the new solar that we installed on Main and down in the West Parking lot. We'll talk a little bit more about that kind of stuff. So we're part of the facilities department actually. And so that's like a lot of project-based work. But we also have a lot of programs that we implement and we push out into the community. Education programs like how to be more green in your dorms, how to conserve water. We work with different departments on educating staff on what they can do in their office and in their buildings to reduce their electricity use, water, and all that kind of stuff. So we do projects and programs. Let's take a look at the actual plans that lead to those projects and programs, okay? So here's a couple of plans that were done. One before I joined in August of 2022. And so in 2016, the university kind of decided that, you know what, we do need to do something to improve our climate overall. And so they came up with the 2016 Climate Action Plan. So if you bother to read it, it's on the sustainability website. It's really short, it's kind of small. It focuses on those things that we see up there: transportation, energy, water, and waste. And he made some recommendations as to what the university could do to like help the environment in those ways. But then in 2021, the university said, you know what we really need to do is get super serious about our emissions. And they came up with the Energy Master Plan. That's only focused on energy. Because energy typically emits the most greenhouse gases after transportation. Okay? And using your electricity and energy on campus, there are some things that we can do, that we are doing, that are pretty effective in terms of reducing our electricity and energy use and reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. So that Energy Master Plan is kind of like the guiding roadmap for me in a lot of ways, and I'm going beyond that through my work. So, here are the projects, for example, that came out of those plans. In the past, USD has implemented solar arrays, like in 2010. You all know that we have solar arrays on 11 buildings right now? Yeah? They're kind of hard to see. You could never really tell if there's solar on 11 buildings. But there are. That totals 1.1 megawatt of electricity. Megawatt is huge. There's a lot of electricity being pumped out of those things. So that's been happening since 2010. In 2016, we implemented a fuel cell. Anybody know what that fuel cell is? It's located down in the west parking lot. I don't know if you all have ever gone down there. Fuel cell is just another fancy term for battery. We have a giant battery in the west parking lot. It looks like giant stainless steel refrigerators all in a row behind the fence. And what that fuel cell does is it takes natural gas, which has really low carbon emission value to it, and it turns it into electricity, just like a Duracell battery. And that battery is actually plugged into the campus utility loop. Underground, there's this big, massive utility line that each building kind of feeds off of. And that fuel cell is directly tied into that big, massive utility line, and it pumps that electricity around campus. Really low carbon. It's really, really effective. It's like 1 of 4 in all of California. And we have one. Very effective for us. It runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then in 2010 to 2020, a lot of energy efficiency work, a lot of work in our buildings that I was talking about, lighting, that kind of stuff, was done. So that kind of has worked quite well for us. Oops. And here are the current projects that we're actually doing. So in 2025, we added 2 megawatts, actually 2.5 megawatts of solar. So over double the amount we put into the west parking lot, on top of Roland Hall, and on top of the main parking structure. The reason why it's double is because the solar panels themselves can produce a lot more energy than they used to back in 2010. So the generation capabilities of solar panels have improved so much that we can use less panels on campus and double the amount of electricity that we're getting out of them. Super, super cool. And we also added another 1 megawatt worth of batteries. That's also down in the west parking lot. So those batteries are tied to the solar. They charge during the day. And we can deploy those batteries at night. So we can use solar power at night. Because obviously we can only use solar during the day. So that's a big, big deal for us. And those actually just went online on January the 3rd. So those are now producing 2.5 megawatts for us during the day when it's nice and sunny. Okay, and then from 2022, moving on, we're going to keep doing energy efficiency work in our buildings, right? To create more efficiency in our buildings, use less electricity. And then in 2026, we're going to update that climate action plan that was done back in 2016. It's going to be much more robust, right? We're going to go into a lot greater details to what we want to do and how we want to do it and when we want to do it. That's really, so that's really going to be the guiding document for USD after it's all finished. Okay. So, really quickly, I just want to go down this little technical data rabbit hole. Oh, you got a question? Question? Yeah? Say it to me. We're going to have time for questions afterwards, so if you guys want to hold on, I can roll through this and then I can take as many questions as we can at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so, is all of this work working for us? The simple answer is yes. And here's the data to kind of back that up. So, This is the electricity used from the utility, SDG&E, that's our local utility, it's coming from the grid, as well as the electricity from the fuel cell, as well as electricity from all the solar on campus, right? And so if you look at fiscal year 23, that amount was like about 24,000 megawatt hours. That's a lot of electricity moving through this campus, okay? And so if you look down under the greenhouse gas emissions header at FY23, that's about 8,600 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions. It's a lot. Okay, now, FY24, what do? We found out that a lot of those solar arrays on top of our buildings weren't really working that well. They were old, so the inverters weren't working, so they weren't producing enough electricity for us. So we worked really hard to get those solar panels to produce more electricity, and we ended up with about 250 more megawatts of electricity that we consumed. But that was clean electricity. So what happened to our greenhouse gas emissions? You look at the GHGs on FY24, they went down by about 36 metric tons. More clean electricity, you can lower your greenhouse gas emissions. Right? Okay. But then, up on the top there, the electricity for fiscal year 25, we added 66 megawatt hours because the wellness building came online, and so did softball. So it started using more electricity. So this is a problem for me, right? Because I can keep adding more and more renewables and reducing electricity use in buildings. The USD keeps building big giant buildings, and they're not going to stop. So what's happening is like I improve and then I decrease. I improve and then I decrease. It's a real problem for me. So it's kind of a never-ending cycle. So what are we going to do? We're going to add more solar. We're going to keep adding more fuel cells. We're going to keep improving our building, right? Because at the end of the day, take a look at this. Even though we added 66 megawatt hours, down under the GHGs, you can see that it actually increased by 155 metric tons. That's a lot in just a couple of small buildings. So we need to do more on campus. Okay, so let's take a look at the new solar arrays really quickly because this kind of gets to what I'm talking about and it kind of backs up my reasoning for adding like more solar on campus. So west parking lot is 1.4 megawatts, main part of the structure, and Bowling Hall, blah, blah, blah. 2.5 megawatts, right? During the day, from 9 to 5 when it's super sunny outside, that's going to reduce the amount of electricity we're buying from the grid by 50%. That's huge. From 9 to 5 p.m. As long as the sun is out, either way, as long as it's super sunny, which is the majority of the year, we're going to just drop our GHGs by half during the day. That's a lot for the campus. Not only that, but solar in actuality is pretty cheap compared to the price of utility electricity. So we're going to be saving some money. So after 10 years, all of that money that we save is going to pay off these new arrays, and then we have free electricity for like the next 10 to 15 years. $0. So renewable energy really, really works for the campus, both financially as well as when it comes to helping our greenhouse gas emissions over time. Okay, now, here are the programs that we do, really quickly. We do Eco Exit, which is our green move out. It involves a lot of pods and storing things over the summer, and then in the fall we do away free stuff so that really kind of reduces our campus waste. We do pop-up thrifts. We're going to do one in the middle of March. We do a sustainability student summit. It's going to be during Earth Week. This is an opportunity for you guys to give us good ideas and to learn more about what you guys can do as individuals to contribute to USD sustainability goal. And then there are a variety of clubs and organizations that you can get involved in to help with sustainability, including ASG. I don't have a sustainability chair anymore, or coordinator, sustainability coordinator. So I'm looking for somebody. So if you're really interested in maybe doing that, maybe this year or even next, please come and talk to me because I advise in that position, so we can talk about what you're able to do through ASG to kind of help me and help us out. Okay, lastly, here are some tips. I'm just going to leave you with these. How many first years do we have? Yeah? Okay, good. Remember, turn off all your lights, all that jazz, short more showers, recycle. Food waste, there are food waste bags available in each of the residence halls. You can ask your RA for a food waste bag if you cook and stuff like that, or drink coffee. Instead of throwing that food waste in the trash, you These are little food waste bags, like a lunch bag. It's lined so all that liquid kind of doesn't seep out. And you can take that to a green bin near your residence home, and you can pop it in there, and it won't go to the landfill. Because a lot of food waste creates a lot of methane in the landfills, and methane is a nasty greenhouse gas, and there's a lot of it in it. So the less we can put into the landfill of food, the better off we are. Lastly, don't scrape your plate at the SLP. You guys know that? Yeah. Just put your plate on the thing. The SLP folks take the food waste, the scrape in the buckets, and put it into a biodigester. I don't know if you can see it, it's at the bottom of the screen. You put that into the biodigester, and it just churns that food for 24 hours, and out comes like really good soil. Loam. And we use that fertilizer, that soil, on campus to help develop landscape. So it's a really good program. It's great. Okay. And if you're looking for more information, you can go to our website. We have a lot of data there, especially for classes, for projects. You can always contact me directly if you have questions, you want to talk more for a class project or something like that that you might be working on. We're on Instagram. You can find all of our events, all of our happenings there. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. My name is Michael Sandoval. I'm one of the senators, Senator House. But I do have a question. I saw that one of the plans was to improve, I guess, the water usage here, or I don't know if y'all are trying to contain it or move it to produce more energy. I'm not really sure, but could you go more detail to that?
Sure, yeah. Water use on campus is ginormous. We use a ton of water, both for drinking and showering, but also for irrigation. And that irrigation water is the same as drinking water, so it comes from the same pipes. In some cities, like up in North County and Encinitas, they use reclaimed water for irrigation of parks and that kind of stuff. City of San Diego doesn't do that. So it's really expensive, number one. Number two, we use a ton. That's like the next big focus in my office, is to figure out what we can do when it comes to water consumption. But there are some things that we're actually doing right now with our landscape team. I'll give you a really good example. To remember football field. Back in the day, those sprinklers to water that field were just on timers. And so they would turn on at the same time every day, or every, twice a week, whatever that schedule was, whether it was raining or not. Totally inefficient, totally wasted money. The new grounds director came in and said, we're going to do that anymore. We're going to put water sensors down into the ground of the field. And those moisture sensors electronically tell him the moisture content of the field and whether or not he should turn on the water sprinklers or not. And so by that way, he's targeting really when the field actually needs watering rather than just letting it go. So that's one way. We're doing a lot of water sensor work right now. The other way is when we build new buildings and we do landscaping around it, we're using native plants instead of like grass and water intensive, plants. So it's a lot of drought tolerant plants. They need a lot of water. And we're also adding drip irrigation to those plants. So those little tiny black tubes that you might see, it's just dripping water on those things rather than spraying on those plants. Sometimes I'm sure you're walking around and you're like, why are we watering the sidewalk? I know that's my question sometimes too. But we're getting there. But a lot of this stuff takes money, right? And so it's kind of one of the things where it's like you have to prove that you can save this much in order to spend this much to get it done. Same. So if we reduce our water, we reduce our costs, and it works. Any questions?
Hi, my name's Sophia Vo, and I'm a first-year senator for the Valley A residency. I just had a question regarding, I'm sure you know that they're putting in the new Shiley building, I think starting like next fall, that giant science building that's going in. Are you working at all with the construction team on how to implement sustainability stuff, like energy things, into that building so that you don't have to do it afterwards to avoid like the cyclical?
Yeah, super great question. And the answer to that is yes. And that's why the sustainability office is in facilities management, because facility management, those are the folks who design and build these new buildings. And so from day one, I was involved on, okay, what is this building gonna be? What's it gonna look like? Who's gonna use it? What kind of energy technologies are we using in it to ensure that we're using as little electricity as possible and as little water as possible? I love this building. It's gonna be super, super amazing. Really quickly, here's what it's gonna contain. It's going to contain a small solar array on the top with some batteries that can be used for classes. So like if, engineering students, you can go up there and your professor can show you how the solar system actually works and how you can utilize those batteries and you can practically understand how all of this stuff is working. Right? There's also going to be like, I think there's like going to be like a green algae river around the building. So then there's some water, landscaping, regenerative agriculture components to that. That's not my jam, but from what I understand, it's like super, super cool. And one of the biggest things that's going to be in that building that I'm super, super proud of is it's not going to be connected to our chiller loop. Now, this is going to be kind of technical, but underneath the street, the big circle, the road, there's this giant pipe, and it has cold water in it. And it's like a lazy river, and it goes around our campus, and that water is like super cold. And each building has a pipe connected to that big pipe, and it draws up that cold water up to the roof. And the HVAC system then runs that cold water over some fan coils, and those fan coils get cold, and then there's a fan that blows that cold air into the building. That's the air conditioning that we use right now. It's old school, it works really well, but it's getting super old. And so when you add more buildings, like it stresses that air conditioning loop. We're not putting this STEM building on the loop. This is a big deal for the campus right now. What we're going to do is we're going to use a giant heat pump. Heat pump technology is super, super, super efficient. It's really cool and it's very innovative. And so this is the first time we're going to build a new building with a heat pump on it. So it's going to heat and cool the building. And so that is going to drop a lot of our energy use by using that. And the hope is that we can continue to do that with new buildings. But yeah, we're tied in with planning, design, and construction when it comes to all that stuff.
Thank you.
Point of order, the time allotted for this item has elapsed.
Okay, let's join me in thanking John for giving us an amazing presentation. Thank you, John, so much. The next item on the agenda is the 10K request from University Christian Fellowship. Please join me in
Perfect. Can everyone hear me? Yes? Okay. So what I wanted to do, since I know that some of us said that we're new, I wanted to kind of mention how this is going to go, this process today. So basically, in our varsity, Cassie over here, she is going to give her presentation. After that, you guys will ask questions to her. Then I will give a second presentation, kind of like showcasing what ASGBC's recommendation was last Tuesday that just passed. And then after, you guys can ask me questions and then on to voting. But I just wanted to reiterate that you guys can only ask Cassie questions after her presentation. After that, no more questions towards her. So yeah, welcome Cassie up here.
Before we move forward, we do have to reinstate Robert's rules. Senator Lehman.
I move to reinstate
There is a motion on the floor that has been seconded. Is there any discussion? Since there is no discussion, we now move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All those opposed, any abstentions? Robert's rules are now reinstated. Okay, perfect. Hi everyone. Like I said before, my name is Cassie Diaz. I'm in third year and I currently serve as student intern for InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, and I will be presenting our spring retreat class breakdown to you today. So first off, really quick, what is InterVarsity Christian Fellowship? So we are a national movement, and InterVarsity has been serving college campuses all over the nation since 1941. They expanded to San Diego in the early 2000s, and their movement is guided by their motto, every corner of every campus. We are an externally affiliated organization with InterVarsity National, and here at USD, we are a multi-ethnic, student-led, non-denominational Christian organization that explores what it's like to follow Jesus in college. We do this through community Bible studies, social events such as going to Old Town or on-campus movie nights, and our all-campus gatherings which happen every 3 to 4 weeks. I would just like to note the small groups that we have 10 currently going on during the semester, all ranging from class-based to women's and men's, and then also our ethnic-based Bible studies as well. And I also just wanted to highlight the growth that we've seen in the past semester alone. So in the fall, we added 3 small groups. We added La Fe, which is for our Latino students, and an athletes group, and then we also helped revamp our BCM, our Black Campus Ministry, thanks to help of the InterVarsity staff at San Diego State. This semester, our leadership team grew from 20 people to 29, and then we've also added 2 more small groups this semester focused on sororities and fraternities. The leadership team is the big photo on the left. The athletes group is up there. We had a consistent 6 people show up last semester, and in the past 3 weeks we've had just under 30 people, and then our freshman group is there on the bottom. So what is Catalina Retreat? I don't think we've presented to Senate in a very long time, so just a refresher, and for those who've never heard of our Catalina Retreat, we go to Santa Catalina Island every semester, which is right off the coast to LA, to build community, dive into scripture, and also unplug from our technology as there's no Wi-Fi at the camp. We join InterVarsity chapters from all over San Diego, including SDSU, UCSD, Cal State San Marcos, and Point Loma Nazarene University, and we meet at a port in Long Beach and then take the ferry over to the island. While we're on the island, we share stories, play games, worship, spend time in prayer, and then go over passages of scripture as well. And then these are just some photos from our last retreat in the fall. So the event summary is we go to Catalina to foster a community with other San Diego InterVarsity chapters and provide a safe space for all religious backgrounds by spending a weekend on Catalina Island at a private camp rented by InterVarsity San Diego Regional. There will be a time for Bible study, small groups, worship, and outdoor activities. This is under the funding category of retreat. We go to Campus by the Sea, which is a Christian-based camp that has been in operation for over 60 years. We go from Friday, April 10th around midday, we drive to LA, and then we come back Sunday, April 12th, and we are asking for funding for 70 undergraduate students. So last semester we received funding for 60 undergraduate students, and I'm happy to announce that we had 50 people sign up, and we even had people on a wait list from San Diego Regional. As a region in total, San Diego has never received that many signups amongst the campuses that I mentioned before, so they actually had to rent another ferry so that everyone could make it to the island. We're asking for funding for 70 students this semester because of the growth that we've seen, and we want to be prepared to aid as many students as we can with scholarships, and even as if we receive full funding, it will still require payment. We don't want money to be a barrier for people when considering going to Catalina, so here is the funding breakdown. The blue box is what we are requesting for, so the total registration cost is $260, but that includes food, and I'm aware that we don't fund for food, so once that's taken off, the total is $201. Since we can only ask for $80 per person per night, we're asking for $160 for 70 students, which is $11,200. Transportation on the slide is the ferry ticket. We get to the port in Long Beach via student drivers, and that gas is reimbursed by students that are in the carpool. And just for comparison, the search retreat that UM hosts is $80. There are supplemental scholarships available with InterVarsity San Diego Regional, but there is an additional application process for that, and not every student is guaranteed. If you receive full funding for every student, the cost per student would be $100 out of pocket for each student. Are there any questions? That's all I have, but I will leave it on this slide for you. President Lee.
Thank you for coming in and presenting. Can you please clarify, you said the students who signed up, are these all undergraduates from USD?
Yes. Like from last semester. I think there's a photo in an earlier slide. Last semester, the one in the very middle under IBCF, that was about half of the group that we brought. I know there's a lot on there, sorry, but there was a lot of people that came. President Lilly?
And the 80 students, or 70 students for this semester that you're requesting are all undergrads from USD?
Yes.
Okay.
Senator Jameson?
Hey, thank you very much for your presentation. It's a great breakdown, by the way. Just had a question about last semester, right? Or last time you did the retreat, you said that we gave a total of funding for about 60 students, and then you said only 50 went. Is that correct?
59.
59? Okay.
Okay, if there are no further questions, please again give a round of applause for our presenters. Chair, come up.
Alright, thank you so much, Cassie. So next, this is ASGBC's recommendation for InterVarsity. So starting off, we have 12 members in this committee and 3 of us are non-voting, including myself, the controller, and our advisor. Alright, so this is our current budget for spring. So beginning budget, $275,000, allocated $24,795.78, making our current balance come out to $250,204.22. And these numbers are up to date, actually today. Alright, so this is it. Like I mentioned, $24,795.78 has already been allocated to 226 requests. We've had 3 ASGBC regular meetings so far, and we've been reviewing around an average of 45 requests per meeting, allocating 20,000 around. Alright, so now moving on to this important stuff. So points to consider. So a couple questions that come up. So this is not, it's not, what is it called? Updated. I had one more, but it's okay. So I'll just go with this. So how much money do we allocate for other events on campus? And like I was mentioning earlier, ASGBC's funds around 100 plus student organizations with an average of 45 requests every week. And then just a couple of questions to consider and that we think about all the time is like how does what we fund and support reflect ASG's values? How do we reach different groups of people on campuses? And on campus, and what I mentioned here is abstention. So if you're in a specific group and we're voting on it, then you need to abstain. And then just the, like you guys saw earlier, like the diverse group of students on this committee as well. So yeah, and then falls in this InterVarsity event request, falls under the convention, conference, and retreat category. So I'll just read off the 4 important points when it comes to this. Food and gas costs will not be funded. Travel, transportation, registration, and lodging costs may not exceed $80 per person per night, ASGBC does not fund conferences that coincide with mandatory educational department obligations. For example, if attendance at a conference is required by a minor or certificate program, and then funding will only be allocated for undergrad students, all which city. Okay, so yeah, so this is our recommendation, the full amount, which is $11,200. The only thing we did say is that this money cannot be used for gas or for food. Yeah, that's one thing. And then our reasoning, like she was mentioning earlier, is that under the convention, conference, or retreat request, you're allocated $80 per person per night based on the funding guides. And so doing the math, 80 times the 2 nights times the 70 people, that's 11,200 exactly. Yeah, and then this remains consistent with what has been granted in the past, not only to them, but to a lot of other events. And then, yeah, now to voting, or actually questions. Any other questions for me? All right, yeah, voting. Oh, vote to approve or deny ASGBC's recommendation. If denied, please vote for new funding amount or vote to send back to ASGBC to review. Athletics coordinator.
I move to approve the request from University for $11,200, but not for food or transportation.
There's a motion on the floor that has been seconded to approve the funding request for InterVarsity, but not for food or for transportation. Is there any discussion? Senator Sophia.
Just to clarify, we are funding the ferry transportation and not gas money, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So can I move to amend that to,
Speaker not recognized.
Senator Sophia.
I move to amend the motion to vote to approve ASGBC's recommendation to change the motion to a vote to approve for ASGBC's recommendation, but not for food or gas.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor that has been seconded to amend the previous motion to change it to not food or gas. Is there any discussion? Since there is no discussion, we will now move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes to amend the previous motion. Student life chair.
I move to approve the amended request for the InterVarsity retreat without food or gas.
There is a motion on the floor that has been seconded to approve the amended motion. Is there any discussion? Since there is no discussion, we'll move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. The next order of business is the presentation of new and returning student organizations.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jameson. I am
Senator Jameson. We are going back to the presentation of new and returning student organizations. Approval of student organizations. The organizations listed has completed new registration process and completed all necessary steps regarding registration. The next step was for them to attend the new student board committee, the SOC, and approve all these returning and new student organizations for either registration or re-registration. The first one is Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. Mission: Iota Phi Theta spreads not only tradition on campus, but a legacy after graduation, focusing on being built to stand out. Brothers that had graduated are succeeding, focusing on career building and bridging the gap between school and professional life. They are a growing organization and improving to a path towards success. Their goal alignment is Iota Phi Theta builds a culture of excellence and optimism, a culture that is inclusive, meaningful, and lasts a lifetime. The next student organization is MENA, or the Middle Eastern North African Association. The mission of MENA is to create an inclusive and comfortable community for those who are a part and are interested in this area, and grows a community that fosters justice. Their goal alignment is rooted in compassion and diversity and contributes to USD's awareness to global awareness, focusing on students to listen to ideals different from their own and committed to justice and human dignity. The next one is a returning student organization that changed their name to Alcala Capital. Alcala Capital is the school's first equity research / student hedge fund. They teach students how to do equity research and prepare students for competitions and future in the corporate world. Their goal alignment: Alcala Capital focuses on deep research and due diligence, heavily focused on career building and education. The next new student organization is Biomedical Engineering Club. The Biomedical Engineering Club's mission is to promote a collaborative and inclusive community to advance human health through education, discovery and translation through bioengineering. Their goal alignment is to strive to having ethical conduct, diverse community and inclusive access, and interdisciplinary collaboration are some of their main values, similar to liberal arts values of USD. Next club is the Math Club. Their mission is to build an inclusive and collaborative community for those interested in mathematics, to support students outside of the classrooms and provide real-world examples through the discipline of math. Their goal alignment is to advance academic excellence, fostering constant engagement, collaborative learning, and analytical thinking to combat global challenges. And they foster community, and they always support diversity. So, that being said, the new organizations and returning to vote. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns? Once the senators are ready, they may opt to move and approve the new and re-registering organizations for the 2025-2026 academic year. Are there any questions?
Senator Lee?
I move to approve new and registering boards for the 2025-2026 academic year.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor that has been seconded to approve the new organizations. Is there any discussion? If there is no discussion, we move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, next we have the swearing in of new members.
Okay, there's already been a confirmation vote a few weeks ago, so we will just be doing the swearing in an oath. So, the members of the Associated Student Government of the University of San Diego shall adhere to the highest ethical standard, They shall exercise judgments which are fair, consistent, and equitable. They shall do everything they can to strive for excellence in their goals, adhere to the Constitution and bylaws of the Associated Student Government, and work to achieve the missions of the University of San Diego. After each of the following questions, please respond with I will. Will you demonstrate loyalty to the missions and goals of the Associated Student Government and the University of San Diego?
I will.
Will you be fair and just in the treatment of all, addressing issues and people without prejudice, and maintaining a positive working and learning environment?
I will.
Will you honor agreements and preserve confidentiality?
I will.
Will you be honest and accountable for your actions and statements?
I will.
Will you demonstrate personal and professional integrity in all matters and respect ASG leaders, administrators, faculty, staff, and students? Incoming officers, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly promise and swear to support and maintain the Constitution of the Associated Student Government of the University of San Diego.
I do solemnly promise and swear to support and maintain the Constitution of the Associated Student Government of the University of San Diego.
That will seek to meet student needs, enhance the quality of education, and represent and serve the student body.
I will seek to meet student needs, enhance the quality of education, represent and serve the student body.
And to the best of my ability, I will faithfully execute the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
And to the best of my ability, I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of convict and prosecutor.
All right, you are now sworn in. Please join me in welcoming our new members.
Okay, we will now move on to reports from the Speaker of the Senate. Hi everyone, as you can tell, I'm not Bree, and thank you for bearing with me. I'm sorry, I'm not amazing at this. Okay, and then Bree says, miss you all so much, I haven't seen you in weeks. Meeting with VP Johnson tomorrow, email, GChat, text me if there's anything you'd like for her to bring up. First 10K requests done. Boom. Expect speaker presentations from here on out. And then there's open positions. And then there's a very big bold one, student board committee chair. So we're looking for a position or someone that wants to take that position. Email her by 11:59 this Sunday if you're interested in that. Also, share with her your Google Calendar if you have not already done so. If you have not, take out your device. Do it now. And she will need it for interview scheduling purposes. And then we're also looking for a new sustainability coordinator, so also reach out to her if you're interested in that. Okay, we will now move on to reports from the Senate lead team. Hi again. Happy Thursday. I'm continuing one-on-ones. Thank you for everyone that has met with me. You guys are awesome. And I'm looking forward to the rest. And then again, email me with any questions, concerns, or speaker recommendations.
Hi everybody. So my one-on-ones are ongoing. Some of you have not responded to my GCAL invites, so please do that like right now, so I can get those going. We have some Senate Initiative Fund balance updates. We've lost some money, so if you are looking to pursue your initiatives going forward, get on it, because we lost a big chunk. And then as always, there's my email if you have any questions. Yeah.
Holiday says happy Thursday, and she hopes everyone's having a great week, and if you have any questions about Robert's Rules, to email her.
Okay, next we're going to move on to reports from committee chairs and coordinators.
Hi, Matea is super sad she cannot be here, but she is currently at the Faculty Senate presenting on open education resources, so yay for that. We are just finishing up our research on what open education resources can be used in what classes, and we will be having a tabling during dead hours Tuesday, March 3rd between Camino and the nursing school on that patio, so come pop out and get boba. And then she's also working on the ROTC Priority Registration Initiative with Tatiana and Jameson. So they're planning on meeting with deans and the new provost in March. You can email her, and her office hours are at the bottom.
Hi everyone.
And then we pushed back our Black History Month table meet to March 11th, so we have more time to plan it. We're just gonna market it a little differently. There's gonna be donuts and cookies, so and then I just have to stay aside, but the ROTC priority registration initiative with the Tam Jamison, we're gonna meet with deans of each school by next week to get their input and then plan to meet with those.
Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Just a few quick updates. The grocery lift codes, because I've gotten many questions about when they're going to be up and running. They will be up and running by this Sunday. We just got the funding approved this morning. Same with the airport lift codes. We got the funding approved for that. That's for spring break, but we just sent funding in really early. Just the update. And then the food pantry and food insecurity initiative. Eliana and Stella met with Jalitza last Friday. They had lots of good discussion, and we have a lot of new information from that meeting. And we are planning on updating the constituent that we met with last semester about this, just to try and figure out our next steps. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Sorry, a bit of a typo, but met with Jalitza for the food pantry with Eliana, like Alicia said. Confirming dates for spring tailgates, so be on the lookout for that. Grace is going to add those to the ASG calendar. And then we are finalizing the details for the gift card giveaways for tennis. It just got approved last night, but we just need to tweak a couple things. And then pretty much as always, if you have any questions or recommendations, feel free to either reach out to me personally or email as well.
Everyone, so I recently met with some other sensory initiators, and we are working on implementing feedback system for the wellness center. And on February 26th, there is a learn how to support a friend, and you can go there, or maybe not because it's during summer. But if anyone's interested and would like to go, please spread the word.
Okay, next order of business is reports from the executive board. Hello everyone, happy Thursday. Oh, this mic is on. I wrote this yesterday. I said, let's keep moving, more energy, more passion. I think that is a meme or a TikTok that okay, thank you, there's dancing. I don't know where I got that from, but yes. But I want to emphasize that. It can get a little bit difficult second semester. You feel like you get told no a lot, you face a lot of blocks, hindrances, but this is the time to keep moving, push through. This is your last chance to really start to get things done before the end of the year. Okay, I have an upcoming meeting with VP Johnson and with Dr. Howlett, and also an upcoming meeting with Director of Parking Services. A lot of things have changed since last semester, so we're going to discuss that, so reach out to me with anything you would like to share. I have SACBOT coming up on March 5th, so the speaker and I will not be here. The endowment scholarship is live. So ASG has some money to give out to students as an academic scholarship based on leadership and involvement. And this will go to their tuition in fall of 2026. So seniors are not eligible to apply, and no one in ASG is eligible to apply either. However, if you're looking for other scholarship opportunities, talk to your academic advisor or an upperclassman if you know in your major. I'm political science and IR. We can give you some information on that. But yes, tell your constituents to apply. Next is absence policy. I just linked this up here again so you all can review it, but it is pretty much finalized and it's looking really good. Thank you all for your feedback the other week on that presentation. Next is makeup training. If you missed training, if you missed spring training, you received an email from me, and if you're absent from other events, I have your branch leads tracking attendance, and I will reach out with you on how to make up for those absences. There's an ongoing document, and I will be consistently adding to it, but
if you don't receive that email, then it doesn't apply to you, you're fine. On March 12th, I will be judging the UFMC Multicultural Night. Yeah, just night. I was like, can't remember what it's called. That will be a makeup event, actually, and everyone should come because I'm excited. And office tasks and office hours, I've seen some people completing these. Thank you very much. The office is a shared space, and you should treat it as if it is your own space, and if you treat your own space the way the office is currently being treated, then you should treat it like it's my space, because I want it to be cleaner. We have to clean up after ourselves. The custodian staff does a great job, but they cannot organize our stuff for us, okay? That is not their job, that is our job, and we have to respect our space. It's honestly just a step of professionalism that is so important when you enter the workforce. So let's start now. Thank you. Email me with any questions, and the endowment flyer is there. Okay. Oh, I'll do it. And Caitlin says, happy belated Valentine's Day. Much love to all of you. Her slide is pink for this reason. She is currently at University Senate, but this is the spring academic and travel grants timeline. It's being released on February 19th, and applications are due March 18th. So any questions about that, reach out to her.
Hi everyone. The judicial branch worked on an academic grant interpretation with the vice president, and it's linked in case anyone feels really passionate about wanting to see it. For election bylaw edits, the judicial branch is coming in next week to present our edits for the election bylaws. They will be sent to everyone in advance, so please review. It's like an 8-page document, so you will not be able to go through it in the meeting. So please come with questions prepared, or at least glance over it. And also, election applications are live, so if you have any questions about eligibility, let me or Isabella.
The Black History Month event is next Thursday. This will be the final event that overlaps with Senate. This will not happen again for the rest of the academic year, so we will be able to attend all of those events. Apologies for that. However, promote that to your constituents. And save the date for Ole Fest, April 24th. I cannot wait to see who it is. I'm the student opener. Just kidding. We would need so much auto-tune. And then shout out to our ASG alum in the back who was actually in the Super Bowl halftime show. Yes. So maybe you should be our student opener as a Bush. Okay, I had to do that. Apologies, but I'm not sorry. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so basically, long story short, yesterday Torero orgs was down, so a lot of people have been emailing, texting me, coming up to me about that, but they will be getting their money allocated today. And then we also had our first over 10K funding request for this semester, this today. And then Fund Use, $102,525.22 dollars have been rolled over into the spring 2026 account from last semester. And then thank you so much to the Get Involved Fund Committee. You guys have been great. We have used 50% of that money already and given it out to students, so I'm super happy about that. Oh, also that's my little dog, by the way. Her name's Noon. Hi everyone. Like Annalise said, election applications are open, so please share with your friends, tell your roommates, tell your classmates, just spread the word. And if you did not get your headshot last semester, please come to Senate next week, photo ready. That's last call for headshots, so please do that if you didn't get one last semester. That's it for me. And then the chief staff isn't here today, so look out for upcoming events in the GCAL. Finance Committee, please respond to the tentative GCAL invite dates. If you have any parking feedback, please share with Lily and I. And please work on office tasks and attend office hours. Before we move on to final business, I just want to reiterate what Chief Justice Annalise said about bylaws next week. The judicial branch works really hard on
like editing the bylaws, and all the bylaws are what affects us as senators. So please review it, respect their time, they work really hard on it, and come prepared next Senate for it. Okay, now final business and hearing from the public. At this time, any senator may take from the table any motion previously laid on the table in the weeks before or present for doing business. Any member of the public may voice any concerns to the Assembly on non-agenda items. Senator Eliana. There is a motion on the floor that has been seconded to adjourn the Senate. Is there any discussion? Since there's no discussion, we'll now move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All opposed, any abstentions. Senate is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.